It did take a little bit of time for Asetek to release the Invicta wheel, as we've had the Forte and the Premier wheels for a good few years now, but boy was it worth the wait. Every single wheel is hand built to the customer's individual specification, and that means you have control over the style of carbon fibre used, the colour of all inputs, the style of the handles and more. On paper, the high level of customization, combined with the large display and the hand built quality, set this Asetek Invicta Formula wheel up for success. I've spent a good amount of time with the wheel, and I'm going to spend this review looking at whether this sim racing steering wheel lives up to the hype. Asetek kindly sent me this wheel for review, but as with all of my hardware reviews, if something's not up to scratch, I'm going to call it out. Up until now, I've been calling this the Invicta Formula wheel, and well, that's not quite right. This is technically called the Invicta Formula button box. And that's because at its core, this is a sim racing button box, as there's no requirement to purchase this wheel with handles. This flexibility in its design and construction gives more control than ever to the customer. You can choose if you want open Formula style handles or closed GT or LMP handles. In fact, you get to choose and spec everything about this wheel at the time of purchase. Beneath all of the customization though, the Invicta wheel is Asetek's most premium sim racing steering wheel, sitting above the entry-level La Prima and the mid-range Forte wheel. This premium wheel comes in at 300mm in diameter or 304mm with the XL hand grips, and includes an inbuilt 4.3-inch 60Hz LCD touchscreen, something never seen before on an Asetek wheel. The wheel is constructed from CNC milled aluminium and carbon fibre, providing a really premium look and feel. There are a huge number of inputs as well, as expected from a wheel that's trying its best to imitate the perfect F1 or GT steering wheel. Among these inputs are 12 aluminium push buttons, 9 encoders, 2 rocker switches and 2 kinky switches. Plus there are 6 shifters and a touchscreen, resulting in many ways to interact with your wheel. To get all of this, the Asetek Invicta Formula wheel costs from $1,250 or euros before sales tax, and can reach up to $1,485 or euros if it's spec'd out with the most premium options. That price is not to be taken lightly, and it really puts this Invicta wheel up alongside competition such as the Cube Controls GTX2, the GSI Hyper P1, the Fanatec BMW M4 GT3 and MOZA's new Lamborghini SCV12 wheel. Although it remains one step removed from uber premium sim racing wheels such as the SimLab Mercedes AMG F1 wheel that I've recently reviewed and the Fanatec Bentley GT3 wheel. But how does it compare to these direct competitors? Well, pretty strongly in my opinion. It's easily the most customizable of any of the wheels I've just listed. It includes a similar number of inputs to those wheels, the build quality is just as high, and it's just as widely compatible with third-party brands. Now, when I first opened the Asetek Invicta Formula wheel, I was presented with something I've never seen before with a sim racing wheel, and that's a pair of white gloves. These show from the outset that this wheel is a piece of art and something to be appreciated and handled carefully. Under these you'll find your warranty information and a large array of stickers, including shine-through stickers for the LED lights and sticker rings for the encoders. You also get a certificate of authenticity, signed by Andre, the CEO, and the wheel assembler, so you do know who to track down if something goes wrong with your wheel. As I said before, this Invicta wheel is the flagship model from Danish company Asetek SimSports, and that is immediately apparent when you first see and handle the wheel. The first thing you'll notice is just how light this wheel actually is. At 1,500 grams without a quick release attached, this isn't the de facto lightest wheel, but it is lighter than many wheels with a screen. This helps with responsiveness during gameplay, which I'll get to later in the review. The chassis itself is CNC milled from a single block of aluminium and finished with a 5mm carbon fibre faceplate, which is one of the areas you get to customise. You can choose between a traditional carbon weave that I've got here or a forged carbon fibre. Every part of this wheel just simply oozes quality with premium materials throughout. Every button and encoder is constructed from aluminium, something that even the incredible SimLab Mercedes AMG F1 wheel couldn't boast. On the rear, the shifter paddles are all carbon fibre as well, and again you get a choice between 4 different hand grip styles across 2 material choices. And then there is the gloss black screen enclosure and the 4.3-inch LCD display. You get as many controls and inputs with the Invicta wheel as you do with any other premium wheel. At the centre sit 3 rotary encoders which can be programmed as either encoders or multi-position switches. Thanks to their aluminium construction, these feel really nice to touch and have a great sense of resistance, bridging the gap between too stiff and too loose. There are also 6 thumb encoders, again constructed from metal and feeling nice to interact with. However, all 6 of these thumb encoders have less resistance than the front-facing encoders, which does make it a little bit harder to make precise inputs. 2 rocker switches jut out from the face of the wheel and they have a simple bare metal appearance, and upon first glance I thought these were actually missing a cap as they appear almost unfinished. The same rockers on the Forte wheel have a rubber cap which does make them a little bit more in keeping with the all black aesthetic. There are also 2 kinky switches that feature 7 different inputs in each switch. These feel just as good as the front facing encoders thanks to the same metal construction, and they make it easy to navigate menus or your black box without the need for a keyboard. Rounding out the front inputs are 10 push buttons. Each button cap again is aluminium and looks really nice, especially when finished in the red that I've spec'd with my wheel. There is a lot of initial resistance followed by a really short throw and a very tactile click, making them a joy to use. However, there is a lot of wiggle and play in each button which I wasn't expecting. This is the same issue that plagued the Forte wheel, and I'm presuming it's because they're probably using the same button mechanism. Turning the wheel over, you're presented with an additional 2 push buttons, bringing the total up to 12. You also have 6 shifter paddles with the option to choose between forged carbon fibre and metal. I chose the forged carbon option as they look more impressive despite not having as potentially good ergonomics as the standard paddles do. Each shifter is incredibly well dampened though, making them one of the quieter paddle shifters I've ever used. One detail I really appreciate is the laser engraved or etched Asetek logo on the rear of the wheel. It's not a part of the wheel that you look at often, but every time you see it, you're reminded of the high attention to detail and that you're racing with a truly high-end sim racing steering wheel. As standard with most wheels, a quick release comes pre-installed and features the unique Asetek design with a slide down mechanism which I do really like. Unlike many premium wheels, you won't find a USB or data port directly on the rear of the wheel. However, if you remove the quick release, there is a USB-C port under the adapter. This lets you use any third-party quick release with the wheel while transferring data via the USB-C connection. The wheel is also compatible with third-party wheelbases by using the Asetek third-party quick release adapter, so there are multiple ways of using this wheel. The mounting pattern that Asetek has used is a 70x6mm PCD, letting me easily mount this to any third-party wheelbase that I've got laid around. I've had this thing mounted to my Asetek Forte wheel directly and mainly to my Fanatec Club Sport DD Plus, using the Asetek adapter and a Fanatec podium hub. Flipping the wheel back to its front, I have to talk about the display. This is a large 4.3-inch LCD display with touchscreen functionality. It comes in at 800 by 480 pixels and boasts a 60Hz refresh rate. Asetek has gone ahead and designed a range of design presets that can be switched to in RaceHub, but the wheel is also SimHub compatible, and this opens up almost unlimited customization when choosing your dash, as you can use any design via SimHub. I like to test displays using the defaults that come with the wheel, and I have to say Asetek has knocked it out of the park with these designs. You get a range of designs to choose from, and one area where Asetek have really killed it is with the animations. Normally with most wheels, changing your TC or your ABS will pop up on your screen to confirm the change, which is great. Asetek goes beyond this by simply implementing silky smooth animations with the box expanding to fill the screen after each change and then shrinking back down. It's little features like this that I really appreciate, and it shows a real attention for detail. Now there is a ton of customization on offer with the Invicta Formula wheel. When buying it, Asetek has this 3D configurator that lets you see your customization in real time. You get to change a variety of material finishes such as the carbon weave pattern and the colour of all inputs. You can get really creative, and I've seen some pretty out there designs with various colours used across the inputs. I've personally kept things pretty understated with a flash of red on some button caps, as I prefer to adjust the LED colours instead of the inputs themselves. Asetek has grouped the inputs together, which was a slight frustration when customizing. I would have liked to be able to change the colour of each button cap individually, and this would really open up some unique designs. You also get to choose your style of hand grip, choosing between regular Formula or LMP style grips, suede grips or XL grips, and I've gone with the Formula style hand grips with the open bottom, as that's really my preference when sim racing, and I'm more than happy with this choice. Inside Asetek's Race Hub software is where you get to customize various elements of the wheel itself. The first choice is the LED color and behavior. By clicking into each input, you can change the color for both passive and active effects. This means you can configure each LED light to actually flash to confirm you've activated an input. With the push buttons, you can also change the input mode between button and latched, which serves as basically an on-off toggle. Rotary encoders also have the option to change the input mode to be multi-position switches or simple rotary encoders. One thing Asetek has done well with this wheel is the positioning of each LED light. The lights are just above each button and can be covered with the shine through stickers. These label each button, which can be seen even if your thumb is on the button itself. The shine through design is a really nice way to customize the wheel without the stickers looking out of place or too garish. Each sticker is actually incredibly high quality and quite thick. However, when applied over the LED light area, the blackout part of the sticker doesn't fully mask the entire button. Even with stickers that I've applied pretty accurately, you can still see some light escaping from around the sticker itself. While this isn't the end of the world, it is something that bugs me every time I turn this wheel on, to the point where I may actually remove the stickers altogether in the future. Outside of the button configuration, we can change the shift lights. You've got the option to change each shift light color as well as the timing of when each light will activate. The direction of the shift pattern can also be changed, as well as the behavior of the lights when you reach the optimal time to shift. This is more than enough control to truly customize and create the perfect shift pattern for the style of car you're driving. The only thing you can't really do with Race Hub, which I did love on the Mercedes-AMG F1 wheel that I've just reviewed, is set certain shift light behavior for other in-game functions, such as certain lights coming on when the DRS is activated. Elements like that really add to the immersion when racing an F1 car, so it's a slight shame we can't achieve this natively within Race Hub. Thankfully though, you can choose to let SimHub control the shift lights, meaning we can achieve this light format using SimHub. Asetek have implemented a lot of additional functionality into their LED lighting. Within the LED section of Race Hub, we can configure different LED light behavior, from the wheel lighting up as certain assists activate, as well as adjusting where different flag lights appear. Then we have another section for the display itself. Here we can choose between a variety of preset layouts and make adjustments to certain aspects, such as our preferred units and which notifications can be active. One strange option is the option to keep certain elements level. This will keep elements such as your current gear straight while rotating the wheel. Although to me, with only limited effects moving like this, it is a little off-putting, and it's not a feature I've really been using, especially because it's not available with third-party wheelbases. When we do get this thing on the rig and everything configured, its performance really reinforces its high quality. Unlike many wheels, everything simply works out of the box. With Race Hub running and the firmware up to date, all features, the screen, LEDs, and input simply work without issue. You'll need to spend some time mapping the buttons in game, which is normal for most steering wheels though. While sim racing, every part of this wheel comes together really cohesively. The bright rev lights dance between each shift, and there is little to no bleed between each individual light. The buttons flash as you make changes to your car mid-race, and these are partnered with the 60Hz display's gorgeously sharp animations just to confirm your adjustment. In terms of stability, this wheel's rock solid with zero flex or rattling, and this rounds out an altogether premium experience. The wheel's lightness means there is no real loss in force feedback detail that some heavier wheels can dampen out. Despite me primarily racing Formula cars, the 300mm diameter didn't actually feel too large, with precise inputs being the benefit of a larger GT-sized steering wheel. Now during my time with this wheel, I was trying to find some negatives, as I didn't want to write a review where I just spent the entire review praising the wheel without offering some criticisms. Asetek did make this incredibly hard, as this wheel really is quite special. The small quirks such as the slight wiggle on the push buttons, the metal rocker switches which I'm not really a huge fan of, and the PC only compatibility don't really take anything away from what this wheel is offering. The choice to make this wheel completely customizable removes any concerns about the lack of, say, GT handles or styling choices throughout, as the customer can fully customize every component. The inclusion of SimHub compatibility opens up the wheel to community to tinker and customize even more than RaceHub allows, and the third-party compatibility options allow this wheel to seamlessly integrate with almost any sim racing setup, regardless of which wheelbase you're running. The price itself may be the only real negative, as this is quite an expensive wheel. However, it does remain competitively priced compared to its direct competition from GSI, Rexing and Cube controls. So really, even this isn't a unique downside. Quite simply, I was floored by this wheel from the moment I took it out of the box, saw those white gloves, to my first few laps experiencing the excellent screen and the high quality inputs. If you have over £1,000 or dollars to spend on a high-end sim racing steering wheel, this Asetek Invicta Formula wheel may be the best there is.